Welcome everyone. So till now we have covered nearly all the data types. Just three are left, that are string, string with parentheses, and arrays. So in this lecture we will cover string and string with parentheses, but it's required to study arrays before strings, but we will start about string first. So first of all, let me just introduce you to array, that what is an array. And till now you have learned that this number and this and also this, these are known as ints, and numbers like 45 point something and 3 point something, these are known as floats. And in general programs, when we are working practically, we require a collection of numbers and floats at a simple place, or we can say that at a single place. And like here I have 1, 2, 34, and these all three at a single place, and 45. So this collection of numbers is known as arrays, and we will study about them after this video. And you can also consider values like floats, etc. These are also arrays of floats. So similar to this, if we talk about array of characters, like I have here A, and now I have here S. So this collection of characters is known as strings. So these are string data type, and in string we have two types of data type, that is string with parentheses and simply string. So they just have a difference of syntax and what they are working on, like before them, but let me clear more about strings. So here we have strings that I told you. Simply the syntax for strings is just begin with a declaration of the data types, that is string here, and which type of string we are using, like character strings. So, and after that in the braces we define the strings. And now let me first talk about simple string. So simple string are just strings that are standard form of strings. Like here I have let me define a character string, and here I have string 1, and let me give it a value of so for declaration of string there is one more thing, these square brackets, which defines that we are including indexes which have some specific values in a string. And after that equal to, and then braces, and in the brackets we will define the values that we have to store in the string, like A, then R, then D. Similar to this, I want to just add Arduino, but there is no space here. So this is a string. So the common things to notice in string is that first of all we have to declare the type of string we are using, like we are using character string here, and then after that the name of the variable of string, because string is also data type, so it's a variable also, and we have to declare the name of that variable. And then after that these brackets denotes that it's different from characters. If we did not include this, the compiler will assume it as a simple character value. And after that, by putting an equal operator, we have these brackets in which we add the values, and these values are added in quotes because they are character values here, separated by commas, and in the quotes we add the values. And there's many different forms to declare the strings, like let me have second type of declaration, in which we define index or number of spaces we have, and after that we have the same string here, that we copy and paste it here. So this is also declaration for this string, and this is known as the index of the string, or we can say this number of places we have. And what does it mean? Like I have entered here 3. So what does 3 mean? 3 means I have 3 values available in my string. that is A, R and D, and the index begins with 0. In any programming language, the index did not begin with 1, it will begin with 0, here 1, here 2. We can access any string by just entering the string variable, like I have string 2, and then entering the index, like if I want to enter D, then 2, and then statement terminators, then the output for this is D. Just I'm going to show this, and after that, like you have to enter A, then string 0, so the output for this is A. So this indexes are a very powerful tool in defining the strings and entering or accessing the elements. And one more thing, these are known as elements, and there are many other different ways to define the strings, like if I have char and star here, let me define it string 3, and then just index here 3, and that is equal to same string with a backslash 0, which defines that it's the end of string, and it's not simply required. The compiler is intelligent enough to understand that the string is ended after the statement terminator, but you can also add this one for your accuracy. And other forms of defining strings are like str. Let me define fourth, and here we do not provide the index like in first one, we just provide that it's a string type of data type by this braces, and then here Arduino. And now here I have written double quotes, and in braces I have written single quotes. So just focus on this thing. When you are writing in brackets, you just need single quotes, and if there are no braces, then you require double quotes. And other forms of defining this is like char str5, and here let me provide the index, and which is equal to again the Arduino here. And one more thing, that it's not necessary that I have to provide the correct index. Like if I provide 15 here and then just simply write Arduino here, and there are 7 places that are left empty, but this nothing happened with that. You have to just enter index more than number of index required or equal to the number of index required. Like if I have added 5 here, then it will provide an error. So just focus on this thing. So this is all about strings, and let me try to implement this here. So now I have defined a character string, let me name it my string, and here square brackets, and let me provide values to this string. Like here I have not written single value here, I'm writing a complete string here. So this one more thing here, if you are writing complete string in the braces, then you require double quotes. Single quotes are just in braces with single values. And now here I have string 1, and let me add another one, that is string 2, and one more with a different syntax like third string, and let me now add any name like Amy, any other name like John. So here we have 5 values in this string, and let me add one more value, let me add Captain America with a space here. So here we have 6 strings and a statement terminator also here. So here I have declared my string, that is with the name my string, and I have not provided the index here, but there are 6 strings in this. So now let me add the word setup, and what we are going to do here is that we use serial plotter to show the working of strings. And now for that, let me define serial.begin, and here I have 9600, and now the main loop, that is void and setup. And now we have not studied about loops till now, but let me show you strings working by a loop, about which I will tell you in further videos. So don't focus on this for loop much if you do not know about this. And basically what this will going to do is that it will take the index of our string from 0 and goes up to 6. Here I have written a condition I less than 6, which means that the maximum it is 5, because in our string we have maximum index is 5. Here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and here this one denotes that it's increasing by a 1 value and beginning from 0. And now what will happen here is that serial.println, and what should have to print my string here in braces the index. By this it will access our elements of string. And now with a delay of, let me add half a second. So let me try to compile this code. Here we have, sorry, I have written setup again here, but this is loop here. So now the code is correct. I have entered 0 instead of 0 by mistake. So here you can see it's working because I have connected Arduino. So with a delay of 5 seconds, 0.5 seconds, it's writing the strings. We have added the code now on the board, and it will now provide our strings, that is string, string, Amy, John, Captain America, and then again string, string, Amy, John, Captain America, as you can see here. Let me clear output, and again it's adding continuously the values. So this is about the strings, and now let me talk about strings with parentheses. So let me move further, but let me resolve the program again a little more so it will be clear to you. So what we have done in this program, so the declaration is understandable to everyone, and the thing that is to focus on in this loop, So first of all, let me a little introduce you to the loop. What does this for loop is? It's similar to this while loop, but it's repeat infinite number of time, but our loop will repeat only for certain values, like from 0 to 6. It means it will repeat 6 times itself, and after that it will not repeat. So this is the for loop, and let me focus on our string now. So what happens here is that I have printed the string value by serial.println by using serial monitor, and what I have done on this that I have access elements one by one. Here I have entered I. So what happens is when the loop begins, it will first take the value 0, and then it enters in this function of this loop, and then terminate the statement serial.println, and it starts to print the item, and then it focuses on which item to be printed. Then here my string I value is equal to 0 because it have been done with 0, so it becomes 0. So my string index with 0, that is string 1. So that's why string 1 is printed, and after that, by taking a delay of 500 seconds, it will increment its value by 1 because we have added I++. So 0 became 1 now, and 1 is less than 6, so it will again enter in the loop and then print my string with index 1, which is our string 2, and then again taking delay of 500 millisecond and again enter in this loop and then print third string, and similar Amy, John, and then Captain America. So this is the working of this code. I think now it's clear to you, and I hope you all understand it. And now, what is string with parentheses? So in this string we have learned that strings are pure character values, and string with parentheses are the data types that create intense values of strings. What I want to say that is, like, I have 13 and I need to work on 13 as a string. So how do I work on an int as a string? So we have also learned about conversions, and in conversion we convert this int value to the string value. Then this converted value is known as string with parentheses. So this string with parentheses considers the values that are converted from other languages, other data types to the character data types, or we can say that string data types. Like here we use the keyword string, string, and then a variable for our string like string 1, and then we provide the value that we have to convert in a string. Now it's converted in a string value which will be denoted by 13, like this, 13 imports, or also you can declare it in 13 in single quotes. So this is about string with parentheses. You can convert any type of string like str, then string 2. Here if I have a float value like 3.3 something, then statement terminator, then the output for this is 3.3 in quotes or 3.3 in single quotes. So these are string with parentheses. Now a thing is where they are required. So they are required when we have to work on a large number of pins, or which have different indexes, and we have to work on specific indexes one by one. So instead of defining or declaring every single pin, we just use a string here and declare values for every of that string. What I want to say that is, like, here I have used my string and provided 5 values. So what's the benefit of this? The benefit for this is, in word setup I have just declared serial.begin once, and if I have defined this is a string, like if I have defined something like you can assume my string and something like any values having different indexes, and they all let's assume that the all indexes require an output. Like suppose instead of this I have declared LED pin, and instead of providing values to like LED pin 1 is equal to 8, 9, 10, we just provide an array and then LED pin and different values like 1, 2, 3, but this becomes a character integer array. But to demonstrate you the benefit of this, we work on this. So what I do now, I just declare LED pin and then provide it on output and statement terminator, then cover this in pin mode. So for all these three values, or suppose we have values up to 100, then instead of declaring one by one, like if I declare LED pin 1 2 3 4 up to 100, then in my setup I have declared pin mode 1 LED pin, then output, then pin mode 2 LED pin 2 output, then pin mode LED pin 3 output, and in this way pin mode LED pin up to 98 99 100, and the code became too lengthy. It looks like similar. If we have some values, then there will be a large number of pin declarations here, and the code became very lengthy. So instead of this, we use these strings and arrays. So this is the general purpose of using strings and arrays, and I hope you all understand the strings. And if you did not able to understand all this, so also don't worry about them. We require them just in a very low levels. After this we will learn about arrays. So see you in the next video.